how to ensure you never get used by men. Welcome to the October live stream. Welcome. It's great to have you on here. I'm upstairs today because it's a beautiful day. There's a few clouds around now, but I love this energy up here. I'm up in the living room today. Today we're talking how to not be used. And, I coach a lot of women who come to me and who feel used by men, which is really sad. And it can happen in reverse as well. There's certainly men I've coached that have felt this way too. And I don't want you to be used. So today I'm going to talk about the questions that I ask clients, ask women to ensure they're not getting used. I thought that was a cool idea for a live stream. Who's online? Denise is online. Hello, Denise. It's good to see you, Denise. I haven't seen you in a little bit. Sue's online. Ella, Izzy, William, Sheila's online. Colby says, hey, Mark. Hello, Colby. Denise says, important topic. Indeed. Denise, there, can't talk. Renee's online. Hey, let me know how the stream is. I might pop it over to the Instagram. If you're not currently following me on the Instagram, search at Make Him Yours. At Make Him Yours. Come over on the Instagram as well. I'm going to see if we can get this bad boy fired up. Let's see how we go. How you doing? It's good to see you online. We've got the Academy live stream straight after this as well. So if you are a member of the Empowerment Academy, you can come on the webcam with me, which is going to be a treat. It's going to be great fun. Let's see how we go on the Instagram live. Let me know if this ruins the feed. It's lagging. God damn it. Hopefully, can you hear the audio okay? Maybe I won't fire up the Instagram. Okay, I might just leave it for now. Let me know if you cannot hear the audio at least properly. I'm going to have to see if I can get maybe an internet extender out here or something, or I'll get it on the satellite next time. Audio's good. Excellent. Okay, let's leave that on for now. I'll tell you what, I'm going to leave the Instagram off for today. Let's leave it off for today. I'll just talk to you on the YouTube, special exclusive one. You know what? I will do a quick story on the Instagram and we'll bring them over. So if you're not following at Make Him Yours, make sure you do. We are live streaming here. Come online right now. We've got the Instagram, all the beautiful people online saying hi. So come on right now if you are on Insta and you want to see me on the live stream. There we go. Come online right now. We've got the Instagram all sorted. Who else is online? Who else we got online? Cindy C's online. Izzy, we got Support Animal Rights says you're cute. Oh, thank you. Three Palms Holiday House says you are awesome. Thank you. Support Animal Rights. I've said hi to you. We're all for animal rights here. Gina's online. Man, always use me, Virginia. Okay, let's get into some content. If you're not a member of the Academy, remember I will be live on the Academy live stream Q&A. We get to see the webcam and stuff, and I get to talk to you. That's in 1 hour from now. You can go to makehimyours.com.au/academy to get that. How to never get used. Okay, this is actually content. That's a small snippet of content taken from the Empowerment Academy. And this is one of the things I take women through and clients through. Now, being used comes back to the boyfriend benefits. Essentially, it comes back to you not realizing what you have to offer and giving it to men who aren't reciprocating it. Now, sex is the one that always comes to mind when we talk about being used. That's the one that the media likes to jump on. That's the one that pops into people's heads. And you can certainly be used for sex, certainly. Men can too, by the way. Today, though, I'm going to go through each of the boyfriend benefits, all 4 of them, and give you some questions to ask yourself. Now, is this video for every woman? No, there's not. There are some people who are at the opposite side of the spectrum. And to be honest with you, that was why I almost didn't do this live stream, because I said, look, this advice isn't going to apply to everyone. So what if someone takes it the wrong way? I really didn't want that to happen. The thing is, when you're talking to a lot of people, that's going to happen. Not every piece of advice is going to apply to everyone. So from my perspective as a coach, I would say what I'm going to talk about today applies to about 75 to 80% of the clients that I chat to. About 75 to 80%. This is the classic nice girl type. This is the one who has struggled putting in place her boundaries. This is the one who brings a lot to the table and often gets used for it. The classic example is the one who ends up with the narcissist. There's lots of others though, and there's lots of other ways that you can be used for the various boyfriend benefits. So I'm going to start going through them now, and then I'm going to get to the comments and bounce back and forth because I feel bad like I'm ignoring the comments, but I also want to make sure we cover the content well. So let's get straight into it with the first boyfriend benefit, sex on tap. Sex on tap. Okay. Sex on tap is the ability for a man to enjoy a regular source of high quality sex with you. That is a relationship benefit. That is an obvious boyfriend benefit. You guys commit to each other, and you can get your STI tests and everything, and things are a lot more relaxed in that area. It's a really great benefit of a relationship. So when going in, you want to make sure that this is something that you get in return. And as I talk about a lot on the channel, unfortunately, there's a lot of shame and a lot of guilt put on particularly women for enjoying this side of themselves. And I've got some videos coming out from sex workshops and things. We'll keep it PG. Basically, it's sexually empowered women who are not buying into that. And that's really where I want to take this channel, because I'm such a believer in that. So whatever you do for you, you have every right to do that, whether you want to enjoy sex a lot, whether you want to just do it on very occasionally on your terms, not even wait till marriage. You should be proud of what you're doing and have the ability to own it no matter what anyone else thinks about that. So that's what I'm really about here. So 3 questions. I'm going to give you 3 questions for each boyfriend benefit that'll get you thinking. And remember, 4 boyfriend benefits. I'm going to go through each of them, 3 questions per benefit. So I want you to think of the last man you saw. Last man you dated. Have him in your mind and answer these 3 questions, essentially. These are from the Empowerment Academy. Remember, makingyours.com.au/academy. The first question relating to sex on tap. When you first slept together, did you do so from a place of empowerment because you wanted to enjoy sex with him? That is how the sexually empowered woman thinks. And even if you're a virgin, that's how you want to be thinking when you first go in to have sex. Am I doing this because I want to enjoy sex with this person? You can't guarantee the sex will be good, and it's the same for a guy. You can never predict the future. You can't know for sure. But at the time, are you going in going, yep, I want to enjoy sex. I'm making an empowered decision over this. That's number 1. Number 2, throughout your time together, were you overall enjoying the sex as much as him? And if I'm honest with you, this is one that I actually had in a former relationship quite some time ago, where I felt like I was enjoying the sex a lot less than her. And that eventually became a deal breaker, which is it's only once I've ever had that happen, but that was a deal breaker for me. It wasn't there for me. So throughout your time together, were you enjoying the sex as much as him? And number 3, did you ensure that at no point you were exchanging sex when you wanted more? I.e., you were being his booty call basically when you were really after more of an emotional connection with him. If you're getting used for sex, those are the 3 biggest questions that you want to look at and answer. You're ensuring that you're not exchanging sex when you're really wanting more. You're ensuring that when you first slept together, you're doing so from a place of empowerment. And throughout your time together, you're overall enjoying the sex as much as him. The beautiful thing about a woman and a woman's body, and I spend a lot of time around, as I say, very sexually empowered women, is you do have an enormous potential for sexual pleasure that I really believe goes beyond that of a man's. There's certainly there's such a gift in women's sexuality, and I think for a long time it's almost scared men, and I even see women where it scares themselves the amount of pleasure they can experience. I've been with women who have held back on completely letting loose because what their bodies are capable of is, honestly, it looks to me like 10 times what I would experience. So there's a beautiful gift that you have with this body, and when you are not being used for sex, you are enjoying that and you are sharing that with him in an empowered way. And I think it's the most beautiful thing in the world. Beautiful. So that's the first boyfriend benefit. How'd you go? What did you think? We'll check into some questions now. Cindy says, awesome, can't wait to hear more. Maurice says, hey man, what's up? Danielle says, being used. I just have my laptop bass headphones, truck suspensions, and $400 stolen from me. Oh, Jesus, it's no good. There's such good information. Wow, thank you. Actually, I think making love is a beautiful thing. I'm the nice girl a lot. How do I change? Yeah, we're going to get into that. Men see me as an object. Now, it's a bit of a side note. If you are finding that men are only wanting sex, if you're finding men are only wanting sex, I'm going to be honest with you right now. I have to be honest with my clients. I'm going to be honest with you. If men are consistently only wanting sex, then it's communicating that from their perception, physical attraction is the big carrier, right? They're finding you physically attractive, but part of the respect model, which I'm not going to go into today, that's all the non-physical stuff, part of that isn't there for them. So have a look. As I say, I'll go into that in future YouTube videos or come on the Academy. You can see it right now. The non-physical attraction, if men are just after sex, and this is a common thing online if your profile's not set up correctly, but even in person, if you're meeting men in person, finding men are just up for sex, then it's a reflection on the way they're perceiving the non-physical attraction. It's not that you're not non-physically attractive, it's that the way it's being perceived, it's not coming across. And there's going to be stuff you can work on there. That's my honest feedback. Let's go on to boyfriend benefit number 2. This is one that doesn't get thought about a lot. Beyond sex is excitement. Excitement. This is basically the great part of being in a relationship. It's the excitement. It's the unknown. It's the adventure. It's all the cool stuff that person brings to your life. It's being able to meet her family, for her to meet his family, her family, each other's families. You know what I'm talking about. It's the ability to go into that person's world and have all these depth of experiences that you wouldn't have had in your single life. So, excitement. Are you being used for excitement? Few questions to ask yourself here. Number 1, was the last guy you saw as excited to get involved in your life as you were to get involved in his? Was he as excited to get involved in your life as you were to get involved in his? So was that reciprocal? Now, sometimes men will want to come into yours, and if you're being used for this one, men will want to come into yours and enjoy yours and all the cool stuff that comes with you. You've built this great life, but then won't invite you into theirs. That's being used for excitement. Number 2, was there reciprocity? Rough equalness with the amount of time you spent enjoying the excitement in each other's lives? Was there a good balance there? Okay. Or could you have even been using him? You go into his life a lot, but don't invite him into yours. That happens too. And as I said, there's probably 20%-ish of clients where that can be the case. Number 3, was there a healthy balance in the overall amount of excitement you brought to each other's lives? Was there a healthy balance in the overall amount of excitement you brought to each other's lives? So have a think about the last guy you dated and go, okay, were we bringing excitement to each other's lives? Because, a relationship, when you go into a relationship, there's always going to be some sacrifices of excitement, right? There's less variation in the amount you can flirt and meet other men. There's certain less opportunities. You're not going to be doing, having lots of crazy fun quite so much in the same way, at least. So there are certainly sacrifices there that you make. So it's important that once you're making these sacrifices, you get the benefits too. And that's what boyfriend benefit 2 is all about, is excitement. Thoughts, comments, questions, anything on that one? I wish I could see you on the webcam. That would be really cool. Unfortunately, we've only got the text. That's okay. Kay says, really, sex is so much better in a long-term relationship, but there is nothing else like excitement within the first time. And it's important for the couples that do well. This is why mystery is so important, is you build that excitement into a long-term relationship. And the couples, I think I mentioned this in a video. I was at a party recently. I wandered into a 50th and made friends there. It was 4 couples. The 50th guy and 3 of his mates who were there with their wives. They'd all been married more than 23 years. 4 couples. I said to them, what's their secret? Respect, communication, the usual things, space. Every single one of them said space. They went on their own holidays. They created mystery, still had that excitement 20 years, 2 decades after they were married. Okay, Amber says, great points, Mark. I can see the unbalance in the past for sure. Lauren says, your accent. Oh, thank you, Lauren. I'm from Ireland. I'm not even going to try to do an Irish accent. Lol, I just had text on fire, Mark. Brilliant, useful content. Thank you, Jamia. Denise says it's nice. Jamia's online. Everyone say hi to Jamia. Jamia is actually the next video I think that we've got out. The next video is featuring Jamia. And it's one you've been requesting for quite, I think it's the next video or the one after. It'll be out in the next week or two. It is how to date with chronic disease. How to date with chronic disease. This one was a big video for us to film. It took a good part of the day, in fact. And Jamia, brilliant, absolutely brilliant in that video. So make sure you keep an eye on the channel. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We're going to be talking about how to date with chronic disease, how to tell men, how to own it. And in fact, actually, one thing I'm going to get to a little bit later in the live stream is talking about self-acceptance. And when we get to the love part, it's about realizing what you bring to the table that you might not have recognized. But let's talk boyfriend benefit number 3. So we've talked sex on tap. We've talked excitement. Let's go to exclusivity. And, you know, every time I run a seminar and I talk about the boyfriend benefits, this is the one that women tell me in hindsight they get used for. This is one of the big ones. We always focus on sex. Excitement is usually okay in most cases. It does happen, but it's exclusivity or loyalty that's the one where they go, oh, shit. Oh, I think I did get used for that. Because of the different biology of men and women, it's a little more natural early for a man to date multiple women, right? Biologically speaking, pregnancy speaking, it made more sense. If you think about it, and this is the interesting thing, for women, it made a little more sense later on to date more, as in later on into a relationship to then stray. And the reason is because once a woman had secured a committed relationship in a tribal situation, she then had security, she had resources, so it made more sense for her to cheat and get better genetics for her future children, right? It doesn't make as much sense for a single woman to do that. Now we live in a very different age, and because of that old school biology, this exclusivity, boyfriend benefit number 3, is one women can get used for. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at the 3 questions to ask yourself. Think of the last person you dated. Think of the last person you dated, answer these. Number 1, did you date or remain open to dating other men at the beginning while seeing him? Did you date or remain open to dating other men at the beginning while seeing him? That's question 1. Question 2, did you assume he was or could be dating other women until he specifically said otherwise? Till he specifically said otherwise. The follow-up from that, which is kind of a little add-on, is did you also ensure that when he said he was dating otherwise, there was a future prospect to it? So a guy that on the second date who says, I'm not seeing any other women right now, is very different to a guy who a month in says, I want to commit to not seeing any other women right now for the future, for the immediate future. They're two quite different. So number 2, did you assume he was or could be dating other women until he specifically said otherwise? And when he said otherwise, did he say it in a future focused way, or was it just as in right this moment day, I'm not dating anyone else? And number 3, did you make sure that as long as you had to wonder if he was dating others, he had to wonder the same? One of the big things that women do to get used for this boyfriend benefit is that they say to the guy, even on the first, second date, oh, I'm just the type of woman who only ever dates one guy. And so he kind of sits back, relaxes and enjoys, puts his feet up and says, great, it's too early for me to commit. So I'm just going to chill here. I'm going to date some others and I can take her or leave her as she comes because I've now got that boyfriend benefit security. She's not dating anyone else. That's one that comes up in a lot of seminars that women don't think about. And that uncertainty, because if he sees you as a catch, if you've got the sex on tap down, if you've got the excitement down, if he's starting to see you as a real catch, and we'll get to boyfriend benefit number 4, if he's seeing these other ones, his instinct is to lock it down. But he doesn't have to if he has the assurance that you're always the type that only ever dates one man no matter what he's doing. So that urgency, and every salesperson knows this, you create urgency to create a sale, right? It's the exact same mental process. If he doesn't have that urgency, he can fluff around and do whatever he likes. And unfortunately, he perceives less value. Think of it in reverse. If he's the type that's openly, he says, yeah, I don't commit for a while, then you kind of have that urgency. You more want to lock him down. If he says on the first date, oh, you're the only person I'm seeing or will intend to see, you'll kind of take your time. It loses that urgency. Comments, questions. Lauren says, what time is it over there? It is 11:21 a.m. I've got someone from Egypt coming online. I can't pronounce that name, but that's really cool that we've got people from Egypt online. I have questions so many. That's why I'm here, says Gina. Did that too. Told him I didn't like to date multiple people. Explain urgency, says Lauren. How do you explain urgency? What's another word for urgency, people? It's that I have to do it now vibe. I have to get this soon before it disappears feeling. Do you always have to have the talk? Tina says, yes, I always recommend having the talk because that's what clears shit up, is communication. Yes, the exclusivity talk. I tend to date one at a time, need to do a better job at creating urgency. And it's not that you have to date others, by the way. It's just that if you have to wonder, so does he. Don't give him that clarity if you don't get it. It's basic reciprocation. It's like, okay, he can wonder as well. It's not having to. It's just the fact that if you have to wonder, so does he. Then you're on a mutual ground. Yes, Jamia's online. I think a whole bunch of you said hi to her, which is super cute. Let's go on to boyfriend from Trinidad and Tobago. Chantel, that is awesome. This is a US and Australian friendly time. Unfortunately, it's not the friendliest time in Europe. So if you are here from the UK or Europe, give us a wave. I will be online at the Academy in 2 weeks' time, live at a European friendly time as well. If you want to ask your personal questions, remember, hit that link and makehimyours.com.au/academy. Let's go on to number 4. Boyfriend benefit number 4. Do you know what it is? I think you will if you watched the channel before. Do you know what it is? Oh yeah, we've got a few people from Texas. I was actually contemplating visiting Texas soon. It's looking like it'll be next year, but I'm excited to come to Texas. There's a direct flight you can catch from Sydney, which is just the coolest thing. Direct Sydney to Texas. How cool is that? On a monster A380. Let's have a look. Boyfriend benefit number 4. And this is where we really come into knowing the value of what you have to offer. Boyfriend benefit number 4 is love. Far and away the most important one, and the one that many women are unknowingly used for. So love, what sort of love do you bring to a man's life? I did a feminine energy workshop recently, and there was a lot of, it was about basically healing. I've got a video of it, actually. I've got to cut it up. It's quite a deep, vulnerable video, so I've got to cut that up for you. Basically, it was a workshop for women about healing their relationship with the masculine. And so us men went in sort of the second half of the workshop to represent the masculine, and they basically showed their worship to the masculine, and we surrendered to their feminine. It was an incredible experience. One question that we got asked is, we were sitting with our partners changed. I was sitting with this woman, and we had to say, the masculine, us men had to say everything we loved about the feminine. And then the women did the same in reverse and said everything they loved about the masculine. And my partner at this point struggled. It was a really powerful exercise for me, though, because I almost got teary. I broke down, and it was just it was a super vulnerable workshop, as it was anyway. And then the question, I think, was, what's things I love about the feminine are, or things that I adore with the feminine are. And I was just talking, about this beautiful radiance that the feminine brings to my life. And that the empathy, the support, the companionship, the loyalty, all those beautiful things that the feminine brings, that really are under the umbrella of love. And that's what you bring to a man's life when you commit to him. And unfortunately, a lot of women undervalue this, and they end up giving that love. And I was literally on a client call the other day with a woman who gave that love despite his his abuse or despite his neglect. And what it does is it devalues it in her mind, it devalues it in his. And of course, she then goes on to the next relationship and she's weakened because of it. And we had to get that strength back for her, which we did. But when you give that love without it being reciprocated, you actually undermine its value, both in your mind and then in the world's. So let's talk about love and the boyfriend benefits around, well, how to make sure it's balanced. Question number one that I love to ask, were you his biggest supporter, i.e. it starts with you, and was he supporting you in the same way? Were you his biggest supporter, and was he supporting you in the same way? See, now we're getting into the real shit of relationships. Now we're getting into the stuff that really, really matters. Because this is love. This isn't the early stuff. This isn't the first sex. This is actual love. This is, are you bringing support to each other's lives? Right? What is your partner if not your biggest supporter? How many good marriages always say that? This person's been my biggest supporter. Are you getting used for support, for that form of love? Think about with your last partner. Were you his biggest supporter, and was he supporting you in the same way? Hugely important. Huge. I can't think of anything worse than being with a partner who was not that supportive, who was not your biggest supporter. Massive. And you bring that. That's what the feminine brings, because that's what a lot of men are terrible at. And men's own disconnection to their own feminine is another topic. But this is one thing that you bring, that you're exceptionally good at, that the feminine brings to men's lives, that men tend to not be very good at doing themselves. And a lot of men, as I say, could improve this. Are you, though, bringing that to his life, and is that being reciprocated in yours? Question 2. Did he reciprocate your vulnerable feminine companionship with his masculine, empowering companionship? I use companionship as a umbrella term, and again, it falls under the larger umbrella of love. Companionship is the friend, right? What do great marriages say? They talk about this person, is my best friend, and sometimes friends don't like each other, but ultimately this person's my best friend. And that's what it's really about. It's about building a life with your best friend. So is your friendship, are you giving it to him, first of all, and is he reciprocating it? And particularly in the form of that companionship, remember again, what are men typically very bad at, and what are men trained not to do? Share feelings, be vulnerable. That's not manly. So what does a woman bring to his life with her feminine compassion, her femininity? She brings the ability for him to have that. And this is why men tend to put their previous relationships up on a pedestal, because they have so few vulnerable connections in their lives. They might have 3, 4, 5 their entire life where they can be that vulnerable with someone. You might have 5 right now where you can be that vulnerable with your girlfriends. So you're in much more of an abundance of vulnerable companionship than he is. So if you're bringing that to a man's life, you're bringing something very, very special in. So is he reciprocating that? Did the last person you're with reciprocating that? And it does always start with you. And when we get to the other 20% of women who put up their walls too fast, it's also about going, well, hey, did I bring that to the table too? Or was I so scared of being rejected, I put up my walls and ran the first second something wasn't there? Because that's not what we're going for here. So question number 1, again, were you his biggest supporter, and was he supporting you in the same way? Number 2, did he reciprocate your vulnerable feminine companionship with his masculine empowering companionship? And number 3, did you ensure that above all, you valued your love and gave it to a man or men who returned it? So the big umbrella question is, have you been valuing your love, and have you been giving it to previous men who returned it? Because that's what it really comes down to. Is this presence that you bring to a man's life? And by the way, this is where we get into, well, what do you bring? Because a lot of my clients, a lot of women have doubts, and they say, oh, is my love really worth that much? You know, other women could bring it in. You have a unique story. Your story is different to every other woman's. And thus, you, even if, you know, we talked about a chronic disease a little bit earlier. I coach women who haven't had a lot of relationship experience at all, right? They bring something different to the table than another woman could. So if you have something that you're not sure about that you bring to the table, then the more you can look at that and go, hey, this is actually a gift. This is why, you know, maybe you had a really traumatic upbringing, for example, and you look at the girl next door with the perfect family and say, well, I can never bring the same love that that woman could, so my love isn't worth as much. That's when you've got to go into your traumatic upbringing, whatever happened, and say, how is this a gift? How does this allow me to bring my own beautiful companionship, vulnerability, support, love to his life in a way that Miss Next Door can't? Because when you can actually answer that question and cry tears of gratitude for your upbringing and how it's made you the best lover, the most unique, gives you the ability to bring this unique love to a man's life, then you're no longer thinking it doesn't have value, and you're not going to feel, you're going to truly feel the value of that, and you're not ever going to be used for it again. That's the third question. We've talked about the boyfriend benefits: sex on tap, excitement, exclusivity, love. This is chapter 12 of the Empowerment Academy. I'm talking from some content in there. I'm gonna have a quick look at the questions, at the comments, and then we'll go on to the next little topic. Black Lotus says, "Oh my God, I love you." Thank you, Black Lotus. Maurice says, in the past, relationship-wise train. I don't really get what that means. Mary says, hi, why can't men say how they feel? Gee, that's a fairly deep question. Frankly, a lot of men have been trained not to. Hey, I'm going to talk next, by the way, about what to do if something's not forthcoming. I almost forgot to mention that. So the man I'm seeing should be with his best friend. I'm not his best friend. Well, Black Lotus, they're always going to have friends outside of you. And you bring a very different friendship to what his best male friend is going to bring to his life. So it's really important that there's no, you're not going to have someone who's just your friend. Of course, you want someone to have friends outside of you because that gives the space for them to come to you and for you to hold that passion for them. If you had no other friends and all his friendship energy was focused on you, it'd kill passion, kill attraction, I guarantee it. Amber says, right in the feels, total vulnerability reciprocated. Marie says, I'm a wife and we became best friends, and then we grew from boyfriend to girlfriend to husband and wife, and now that's how a healthy relationship start. That is certainly one way a lot of relationships start, Maurice, and that's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing. We have that friendship, support and companionship, though we haven't said the 3 words yet. What do you think about that? Tina, I'm assuming that's pretty early on, and that's just a matter of time by the sounds of it. Again, look at progression. Just go, hey, are things progressing here? Amber says, beautifully said, Black Lotus. Why do we have it? That was great at the end. Okay, let's go on to what if something's not forthcoming? Because remember, I said this video is going to apply to by the way, everything I've said here can equally apply to men. Okay, everything I've said here, I've coached the classic nice guy. It's not as common as the classic nice girl. Everything I've said, though, being used for these things can apply to men. You just don't hear about it as often, you don't see about it as often. I especially don't anymore, but the advice is universal. So what do you do if something's not reciprocated? Okay. What you don't want to do is be the person who jumps instantly to defensiveness and goes, nah, screw him, done, out, F him. Because what that really is coming from a place of fear. And as a couple of people have pointed out in the comments here, I can't remember who it was who said it, someone pointed out really well, that this is really about you being vulnerable. And here's the important thing. How do you know if you've gone too far? How do you know if you've put your walls up too much and you're just becoming that, nope, I'm dropping him like a I don't know, burnt toast. That's not even a metaphor. I'm just dropping him that quickly. How do you know that you haven't gone that far? The key thing is when you're walking away, are you doing it from a place of anger or malice or fear? So if you say, hey, this guy's not reciprocating my boyfriend benefit, nah, screw him, done, he can F off, that's telling me you're coming from a place of fear. And when you're really doing this right, it's going to come from a place of vulnerability. Here's what you can do. Here's a few steps. Communicate. Let's take support. That's a classic one. Let's take support. Communicate it. By the way, if the thing's not being reciprocated, often that's because there's hurt in the other person that it's not coming from you. And you might feel I'm being a great supporter, but he might not, for whatever reason, be feeling that. So let's take support as an example. First question to ask is, do you feel this from me? Are you feeling supported from me? And one thing that was really powerful that we did in this recent workshop was that the women had an exercise where they had to basically make space for the masculine, and they just had to sit and listen. And it was really interesting because when I was doing this with my partner, I had all the time in the world, and she just really made space for me. And I can't remember exactly what she asked, but she said something like, I think it was, where has the feminine hurt you in the past? Or something, some sort of deep question. And then the instructor said, okay, you ask the man a question and then you make space for him to answer. And I literally sat there for, I don't know, a minute, 2 minutes, and she just sat there and waited. And it was beautiful. She just made space. I didn't feel pressured. She didn't prompt me. She just asked one question and then waited for the answer. So in this example, if support is the thing that you're not feeling, then go, hey, do you feel supported by me? And just don't add anything more. Make space. Let him answer. When you feel if it's coming, you get a gauge on if you feel it's coming from him, and then you can use things to see if it's going to come out. Because again, it's not about bailing at the first sign of trouble. It's about seeing if you can build it, particularly with these deeper ones. I love it when you support me in this way. It would mean the world to me if this support was forthcoming in this way. Something I want to work towards in a relationship, in our relationship, is this mutual support. Get his gauge on that, okay? It's not about dropping him at the first sign. It's about getting his gauge, communicating. And then from there, if the behavior changes, if he starts reciprocating, great. You reward it just like a dog. It sounds bad. It's true. You train someone in the behavior by giving positive feedback. Thank you so much. It means the world to me the way you supported me. Give him your support back. Positive training. If it doesn't come, and this is the check. If it doesn't come, if that thing doesn't come, then you have to say, is this a hard boundary for me or is this not? Is this thing a hard boundary or is this not? And in that example I used at the very start of this video, where, what was the question? It was, am I enjoying sex as much as this throughout your time together, were you overall enjoying sex as much as him? Obviously for me, the question was, throughout the time together, were you enjoying the sex as much as her? If there's no communication of change, and if the change isn't going on, then you've got to ask yourself, is this a hard boundary for me or is it not? Basically, is this a problem I'm willing to live with? And it's really important you don't put the relationship ideal on a pedestal and go, yes, I'm willing to live with it because I just want to stay in the relationship. That's a mistake a lot of women make. You go, is this something that I'm really willing to live without? And I bet the best you is not going to say yes when it's something as important as support. The best me didn't say yes when it was something like sex. So you then got to make your decision. And if you have to walk away because you're feeling like there's no reciprocation in that area, you're not doing it from a place of fear or malice or anger. You're doing it actually from a place of vulnerability. And you're going, hey, even though I love you or even though I have strong feelings for you, this is a standard. This is a boundary of mine. And you can't weaken that for anyone. You can't, because I've seen it. I've seen what happens over and over again when women bend their boundaries to stay in a relationship with the popular guy or with the cool guy or whatever. You got to pay for it with your confidence. You always pay for that when you're self-confidence. If you break a hard boundary over something that's truly reciprocal, you will pay for it with your self-confidence in your future relationships. I see it again and again and again. Okay, that is the content for today. I've got a couple of things for you. We've got the sexting guide. If you haven't already got it, make sure you download that as well. What is it? makehimyours.com.au/sexting. There's a great little reciprocal boyfriend benefit you can give. So have a look at that. And I'm about to go live in the academy as well. I'll get to some comments actually before we leave. Let's answer some comments now. What have we got? Burnt toast. Black Lotus. Mark is a great guy. Burnt toast. I have no idea what I'm talking about, do I? Cindy says you have a big heart. Easy to see your true colors. Thank you, Cindy. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I try to learn so much to be a better person, says Maurice. Richard says all you need is love. First of all, from yourself. Truth bomb. Mark, me and my ex broke up, and then he contacted me a month after wanting to see me. We ended up sleeping together, and now he pulled away again. I feel used. What do you think? Marina, it sounds like your boundaries were pretty lax there. He's kind of just walked back in, and you, I imagine, have not gone through the process of actually thinking if he's the right person, and you've basically accepted crumbs by the sounds of it. He's walked back in when you've wanted more. That's the vibe I'm getting, at least. And then the sex has happened, and that's been the boyfriend benefit you've been used for. So yeah, it does sound like it in this case. Isn't it possible to just be ourselves and attract the people we want? That's exactly what it's all about, Mary. That's exactly what it's all about. It's about taking off these layers of fear so that we can be ourselves. It's exactly what it's about. I'm always changing myself because I'm always looking to grow and take away the things that stop me doing that, i.e. fear. It's very, I have all my clients, and I've done this too, write an authentic you statement. And the reason it can be hard to live that way is simple. Just one thing: fear. If you're not living to your best you, it's because there's fears in the way. It's that simple. And so the more you can remove those fears, the more work you do, the more you embrace who you are and go through a process of self-acceptance, the calmer your inner state and inner world becomes, and the more you'll be able to truly be yourself. It is a process. Let's have a look. Thank you, Mark. Amber says, thank you. The video couldn't have come at a better time. Sending good vibes your way. Thank you so much, Virginia. Denise says, thanks, Mark. Always nice learning from you. Excellent content, Mark, says Shelley. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe. What's the story? Morning glory, says Richard. Charles gives me one of these. Jamie says, I just asked him. Hey, we're going to be live again in a month. The next live stream date will be at the same time on Friday, the 2nd of November, or Thursday, the 1st of November, if you're in the US. Don't forget as well, the Academy, Empowerment Academy, I'm live twice a month on webcam. So I'm about to log off here, head over there on webcam, and basically answer questions live, which is cool. This text thing is cool, but how much better is it to actually get me to see me answering the questions live? Cindy says, you'll cancel when you wave goodbye. Thank you, Cindy. I appreciate that. Jennifer says, great live chat. Communication is key. It can be difficult and it can be scary. And Jennifer's made a good point here is, why don't we communicate? F-E-A-R. Fear. Fear is why we don't communicate. We get scared. I've got a video coming out, actually. You'll like this one. How to never risk losing a guy. And the basic theme of it is you can't, because the only way to never risk losing a guy is to never have a difficult conversation. And you need to have difficult conversations, because that's how standards are met, is through difficult conversations. And that's why it's so important you face your fears. You're so awesome. Thanks so much from San Francisco. Hey, I am coming to the US next year, so I'm really excited to see you there. Keep March, April sort of dates we're looking at. I'm actually waiting for the confirmation from Miami with all that's going on with the government there. So yeah, going there. I'll be in Europe next year as well. Thank you so much for coming online. I really, really appreciate your support for my channel. Make sure you follow at Make Him Yours on Instagram. I'm really wanting to help the audience get to know me better, basically, and be more I felt like some of my content was almost censored in terms of not the dating relationship content, but some of the me content. So I'm trying to get a really real thing going. Put the video, the birthday video was a big one, and I'm going to do more videos like that. I'm going to plug together this one from the workshop and all the interviews and stuff that I've been doing. In the meantime, follow it, Make Him Yours, where you can kind of see what my day looks like, and yeah, I can connect with you properly. So thank you again for watching. It's an absolute pleasure. Make sure you subscribe. Come on board with the Academy right now. I'm going live over there at makehimyours.com.au/academy, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. makehimyours.com.au/academy. I look forward to seeing you in the next video very soon. Thank you for coming online.